Hi, my name's Alexis. I work at SEMLEP, one of the economic development partnerships in this region. We're here to help areas to grow both socially and economically. And in order for there to be economic growth or business growth, we need to have a pipeline of talented young professionals working and training in our area to become the workforce of the future. Each and every one of you here today has the potential to have an exciting, rewarding and fulfilling career in this area. And the choices that you make after finishing year 13 will hopefully set you on that journey. Perhaps you have an idea of the kinds of careers that might interest you next, or perhaps you're still working that out. Either way, it's fine. You've plenty of time to make those choices. Today's event is designed to help you to work out which pathway might suit you best and give you the knowledge you need to make that happen. So you're currently in year 12 or 13 and you're planning your next move. Over the next couple of hours, we're going to hear from a wide range of experts who are going to talk to you about your learning and employment options after you turn 18. Focusing on apprenticeships, university, college and employment options, we're going to explore practicalities and challenges that you may need to think about in planning your next step, with the aim of inspiring you with the wide range of opportunities there are available to you and where they might take you next, whether that be work, which could be joining a company or even starting your own, education, that could be university or a HE college, or a combination of the two, like an advanced or degree level apprenticeship. There are now more options than ever to take you to where you want to go, meaning you can shape your journey to the elements that suit you best. The real beauty of the system is they continue to interchange and cross over, meaning that as you grow and change, your studies can flex with you. And that means you don't have to have all the answers right now, just the answer to what's coming next. Here's an example of what I mean by that. You might really love practical learning and decide a vocational course like a HNC would really suit you next. So you go to one of our great local colleges and you really enjoy your course. But once the course is finished, then what? Well, similar options are still available to you. So for example, you could look at other courses to go to through college. You could decide at that point to go to university and explore postgrad options, or you could take up an apprenticeship in a level 6, or you could start work. Taking the next step doesn't close any doors off to you. It just keeps moving your journey forwards. So there is no right or wrong, there's only right for you. To help you to understand your options better, let's talk a little bit about the difference between them all. Let's start with education. If you want to continue learning in an academic setting like university or college, there are many options to carry on learning at a higher level. University will usually be a bachelor's or foundation degree, depending on your chosen subject. Also, if your grades aren't quite right or where they should be, or the subjects you've chosen don't align to the degree of your choice, a foundation year might help you to get onto the course that you're really interested in without having to resit. Degrees tend to look at the theory of a subject and are more academic and research-based, although more and more universities are now working with business people in relevant industries to try to align the content of their degree programs with real-world application. If you're looking for a course with stronger industry links that's more practically based and involves more set time away from the classroom and in industry, you might be better suited to a vocational course like a HND or a HNC, which are more often run by colleges. Whilst some roles require you to hold qualifications, others do not. Perhaps you feel like moving straight into paid employment would suit you best. Or maybe you have a great idea and want to start up your own business. Once you turn 18, there is no legal requirement to stay in education. And stepping into industry doesn't mean you step away from learning. You might be able to study further through your employer, or you might decide to return to education in the future. Again, no doors closed to you, but getting into industry and developing skills and knowledge can sometimes be a great springboard to developing work-based skills that are really valued by employers. And so what about if you fancy a bit of both? Well, if you want to start your employment journey, earn some cash, but you'd like to still carry on learning and gaining qualifications, maybe a higher or degree level apprenticeship would suit you. Nowadays, apprenticeships cover a wide range of subjects and industries, and the learning side differs from degrees and HNCs because they are more linked to occupations than sectors, meaning that the frameworks that you study in your job are transferable to a range of sectors. And whilst you might attend college or training days, your time will be mostly spent in a real paid job. It's usually around an 80-20 split. The majority of your assessments will be based on your ability to demonstrate competencies and showing what you've learned in your job. But remember, there is still some classroom-based learning time, and you will be required to brush up on your English and maths skills too. You will also have to sit some tests, but you can continue to learn all the way up to a level 7 through apprenticeships, and that's equivalent to a master's degree. And the best bit is the employer pays for the qualification that you earn and you get to take with you in the future. So today's speakers will talk to you in detail about all of these options and the practical considerations that you might need to think about and the processes that you'll need to take in order to gain a place. In the meantime, whilst I continue to talk, the questions that you need to try and answer to choose the option that's right for you are these. Where do you want to be? Or what do you see yourself doing? Maybe that's a specific job type, like I want to be a vet. Maybe it's a bit more abstract, like I want to be in a management role and I'm interested in engineering. Having an idea of where you see yourself will help you to understand the level of education and the best type of qualification to set you up for that. If the level or type of qualification doesn't dictate the path, which in a lot of cases nowadays it doesn't, then consider your preferences. For example, do you want to stay at home or do you want to move away? How important is earning an income to you right now? What's your preferred learning style? And what's your preferred assessment style? Are you practical or are you theoretical? Did you thrive under pressure of the exams? Or does coursework and practical assessment work better for you? So I know that some of you will be sitting at your screens and thinking, well, this is all very well and good, but I just don't know what I want to do, or I just don't know how I'm meant to decide. Let's talk about some of the things that might be causing you uncertainty. COVID-19. Undeniably, the last 8 months have been challenging for most of our lifetimes. No one in living memory will have experienced a time of life like this. And with it, the economic instability that you'll have heard about in the media, you might have seen in the people around you being furloughed, working from home, or perhaps even losing their job because of the disruption to our lives caused by the coronavirus. Not forgetting that we haven't even finalised Brexit yet. Understandably, many of you will feel that making choices that will strongly shape your future career options with so many unknowns is an impossible task. You may be feeling a little lost in trying to identify which courses might offer you good career opportunities in the future because of this. Here at SEMLEP, as an economic development organisation, it's our task to try and analyse data, watch trends, talk to businesses, and try to understand the changes that are happening and what they mean for all of us. We know that as with all recessions, there will be a recovery. Some sectors will be hit harder than others, some will bounce back faster than others. But the timing and nature of the impact of COVID-19 on our labour market is likely to have a more interesting long-term effect in how we do business globally. So let's start with the big picture. Earlier this year, the World Economic Forum commissioned a report to try to understand what COVID-19 is doing to the global labour market. Here are some of the headlines. The impact of new technologies has been slowly changing our workplace for many years. However, in recent years, the advancement in artificial intelligence and automation has been accelerating those changes much more quickly, meaning that what has been anticipated as the fourth industrial revolution, or what the World Economic Forum call the robot digital revolution, is now fully with us. Because COVID-19 forced us to physically distance ourselves, virtual ways of working, communicating, socializing and learning quickly stepped in to fill the void, significantly accelerating our use of technology and therefore its impact on our lives and how we operate. Technology that was in its infancy just a year ago has now advanced to allow us to carry on living our lives. That technology looks like it's here to stay, and will continue to advance and change with our lifestyles and requirements. You will have seen this change yourself when your schools moved to home working last academic year, and the world moved itself to Google Classrooms and Microsoft Teams. And now this term, this new normal, it means we're meeting online just like we are today. As talked about earlier, digital influence in industry isn't new, but because of COVID, it's very much more visible in our lives. And the change caused by COVID was so fast, it may feel like it's been a huge change very quickly, but some will argue it's always been inevitable. Tables on this slide show the sorts of digital knowledge that most commonly sought by employers who have been recruiting over the last 12 months in our area. Digital skills are going to be growing increasingly in value to businesses in the future. Whatever qualification or pathway you decide to take, both globally and locally, analysis says you will need to be digitally competent. This doesn't mean everybody needs to study IT sciences, although good for you if you are. But what it does mean is that the more sophisticated software and hardware will become more commonplace in the future. Being able to use that technology in whatever industry or role you pursue is going to be really vital. Before COVID, lots of work was already going on into future-proofing our economy to be resilient to the changes of Brexit. No one could have foreseen or planned the global pandemic of this scale. Some of the Brexit planning has resulted in our economy showing higher levels of resilience because they were already exploring new customer markets and new ways of working. Locally, we're now starting to see some small positive indications of economic recovery through slowly rising recruitment rates in our area. These increases are mostly in sectors that you might already expect, like healthcare, education, logistics. Whilst not all sectors have fared quite so well, the types of jobs available have not significantly changed. Often, when as careers professionals, we're talking about types of jobs, we do tend to talk about sectors rather than occupations. What we've mostly seen at SEMLEP is the economic impact in our area is in sectors and not necessarily in occupations, as the table shows. If you find yourself looking for a job in the next few years, it might be useful for you to look at the labour market in a similar way. So, for example, when planning your next steps, if you're interested in an apprenticeship in administration and you had hoped to find a role in a creative arts organisation, you may find that that's limited in opportunities at the moment. However, an administration in healthcare might be much more readily available, so you can still progress in the type of role that you're interested in, developing valuable skills and experience that could transfer into another sector that appeals to you more in the future. Employers call skills sets like these transferable skills, and they will help you to move around different occupations too. Whether you plan to stay in education for the next 4 years or you want to start working now, employers will value these along with digital literacy. They will allow you to use your digital skills in an ever-changing world of work. Who knows what the next great economic bombshell might be, but how you develop yourself as a professional will help you to ride those changes more confidently. So I've tried to describe to you today how digitalisation, as a result of emerging technologies and accelerated by COVID-19, is going to drastically transform the work that we do and how we do it. We've looked at the current labour market, so we know what's available to those looking to start work soon might be. We've identified one of the clear ways that COVID will leave a lasting legacy on the world of work and the studies that you're being prepared for. But ultimately, things are changing so rapidly that we don't know what tech will drive some of the jobs of tomorrow because they don't really exist yet. The reality is that that's because you are the drivers of the future. You have not yet designed, imagined, or created that world yet. Educational routeways allow crossovers, and that means taking a first step in one direction doesn't stop you from taking your next step in another. You can use what you know now and what we anticipate the world of work to look like to shape the journey that's right for you. There is no right or wrong to the choices that you make next, only right for you. You could get into industry through work or an apprenticeship and be growing skills with a great employer who is shaping the future marketplace. Or you could stay in education, learn from fellow academics and be part of the thinking and learning culture that will create the ideas of tomorrow. There is no right or wrong, but a well-informed choice is going to be one with a greater chance of turning out well. If you'd like to find out more about the sectors and roles available in your area, explore the types of skills that you need to get in and get on in those fields, take a look at the LMI pages of the SEMLEP website to find out more, talk to your careers advisor, or feel free to drop me a question in the chat box. I'll be happy to answer. Otherwise, stay tuned. There's a wide range of speakers ready to talk to you today to help you build up your pathway to a promising future career. Thank you for listening, thank you for joining, and good luck in your next steps.